Holy shit.
I had a moment of like, what the fuck are you doing? Because I asked you if you were ready.
And I walked away.
Go live, and then you immediately got out of your chair and walked away.
I just closed the door.
Yep, that's par for the course right there. All right. I feel like you and I should address that Brick is not here. That is not like he's still a part of the show. He just
lost his mind.
Yes, he definitely lost his mind, but he's currently like in between living situations, so it's not super easy for him to jump on. Also, he told us that he was blacked out. You texted him like 45 minutes ago and you were like, "Hey man, you want to just hop on? Like you just do it from your phone." It's like, "I'm literally blacked out. LOL." All right, dude.
Colorado's what, an hour ahead or behind?
Behind. So it's 11:30 there right now. I don't know if he meant he's still hammered from last night or your guess is as good as mine, but at least he's having fun.
Yeah, Brick technically doesn't have a place to live right now. He's just naked, supposedly roaming through the forest.
No, he can freeload, which is, I mean, he's good at it. Love you, Brick. He's convincing like everybody we know to move out to Denver, which is odd, but I don't know. Like Denver's cool. I don't know that I would want to live there.
No, I would not.
You've been, right?
I've been in Denver. It's nice, but no, I wouldn't want to live there.
I think it's a little too hippie for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, everything is definitely chillax for sure.
But it's like too chillaxed. And it's not like when you go to like a city in the South where everybody drives like they have nowhere to be ever.
Yeah.
Fuck those people. I hate them. But I don't know, man. It's just like it's crunchy, if that makes any sense. But
I don't know what crunchy means.
It's like hippies, you know, like free love and let's do mushrooms and shit, which is cool if that's what you're into. It's just not for me.
Yeah. And you have to be like an outdoorsman too. You have to take advantage of the mountains and go up into the mountains every week and hike and do all that kind of shit. And if you're not into it, Colorado's not your place.
I love hiking. Hiking's cool. Like when we were out in Beaver Creek, I will never let my wife forget this, because apparently we were like 90% of the way to the top of a mountain, and she's like, I just can't do it anymore. So we ended up going back down. Yeah, it is, but like that was the whole point of doing it. Is it's great exercise and it was gorgeous. I mean, absolutely beautiful. But we didn't know at the time that we were climbing it, like how close we were to the top.
Mm-hmm. So
she was like, I don't know how much further this goes. We got a wedding to go to later on, so like I can't do it. But I will not, like we turned around and we talked to somebody that was on their way up that hikes it all the time, and they're like, yeah, it's almost there. So I will never let her live that down. She stopped me from achieving my dreams of climbing a mountain.
How much more was there to climb?
I mean, based on what they told us, we were like 95% of the way to the top.
Really?
So like had we just kept going for another 15 minutes, we would have been there. Oh, well. How's everything going on your end? Is your baby still an asshole, or is he chill now?
No, he's good. He's every fucking week, man, with him, he's just putting on more weight, and it's ridiculous. He's a like completely different looking baby from what he was like 2 months ago. It's crazy.
What does he weigh now? How much weight does he put on?
He's probably about 15 pounds right now, I think.
That's a big baby.
Yeah. So he's tripled his weight in 4 months.
Yeah, we had our 1 month check-in, and Max is 8.5 pounds now. He's a month old. So being a dad, like we're gonna have a baby party later. We're just gonna have a few couples over. I have my meat thermometer right here. I'm smoking a pork shoulder for pulled pork, and we're just gonna like put the babies in a pit that I dug in my backyard, and we're gonna watch them fight. So
AKA just sit there and just do nothing.
Pretty much, yeah. It's an excuse for me to eat meat and drink beer, which I'm totally cool with. So I see Joe is in our chat right now. I just want to throw this up there, and I wanted to mention his charity D&D stream that they did on Friday night. Roll for Persuasion was the Twitch channel where they raised over $5,000, I think, for their charity of choice. It was a lot of fun. Super awesome crew. Joe, of course, the master DM'd the whole thing. And I need to steal their producer because shit they were doing was like way better than anything I have any idea how to do. I just don't I don't know how to do it.
Joe, you killed it, by the way. Did a great job. Yeah, but their whole setup, the whole layout they had, I think it's all through, what was he saying? Streamlabs, OBS.
It is Streamlabs, but the overlays kept changing, and I don't know what they were actually like communicating on. Because if it was Zoom, then you have to like move people's faces around to match the overlay.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. But that's a little inside baseball, and maybe I would like to try and talk to the guy who put all this stuff together, and pick his brain and shit. So he was fun too. He's got a podcast that I think is called Roll for Persuasion. Joe, you can chime in if that's the case. But anyways, check that out if you missed the stream. It's a ton of fun. It's on Twitch. So I cut a new drop, by the way. I'm only thinking of this because I'm staring at it right now.
What did you cut?
I thought it was appropriate for this particular episode. So this is something that will play like if we see a trailer that we really like or something like that. Let me know what you think. In my pants. It was a college favorite song of mine.
Was that SNL?
It was, but the Lonely Island put out an album that was full of bangers, really. Like, I know that they're stupid songs and the lyrics are dumb, but the beats were actually pretty good and everything. Like, they're musically talented. So,
was that Sandberg?
This is Andy Sam. So this is the end of the song that I clipped out, where it's Sandberg, Jorma Taccone, and Justin Timberlake all like kind of harmonizing on it. Let me play it back for you here. She's in my pants. You hear that kind of harmony in the background? It's very well produced, man. The music video is hilarious. So if you're not familiar with Lonely Island, what the fuck are you doing? Go watch that shit on YouTube. But I remember that shit. Okay. I think that we can probably just get into the episode, huh?
Hey, guys, in the stream, hold on.
Didn't we?
Hold on. I'm getting a bad echo. Are you guys hearing that echo in the stream? Just curious.
I checked it, and we should not be getting an echo. So
okay.
But we do have a voicemail, and I totally forgot to even listen to it. But if I don't pull it up right now, I'm going to forget. Ugh. You are bad at filling time, Mark.
No, I was seeing if someone was going to tell me if there's an echo or not. I'm just looking at the comments, staring at them. Joe, are you there?
Sure. Okay, we got a voicemail here. Let's it's kind of oh shit, we got two voicemails.
No, you're good. Okay.
First of all, this is a follow-up to a question we had last week that was submitted by Darian. Okay, so he submitted The Little Mermaid. So if you don't remember, we were talking about movies that traumatized us as children. So I think that Kyle submitted Little Mermaid, and I think he's got an explanation as to why. So let's play this and see what he says.
Chumps, what's going on? It's Kyle. So I know this was a question posed last week by Darian, but I just wanted to follow up on it, on a movie that traumatized us. Now, the movie is Little Mermaid, but there's a reason behind that, okay? So the short of it is that when I was, 2 years old, something like that, that's when I watched the movie for the first time. And everything was cool, and I was following along the best I could.
Oh no, I dropped it.
So, years old, something like that. That's cool, and
there we go.
I was following along the best I could.
My bad.
At 2 years old. But then the part where Ursula got really, really big and started attacking the ships and all that stuff, I didn't like that. So I started having nightmares about swimming in the ocean.
Big ass.
And these giant tentacles would come and wrap my body up and drag me to the bottom of the ocean, where Ursula would be, eating me with a fork and knife.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, I had that
Jesus.
nightmare. Let's see, from the time I was 2 years old till about 29.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like yesterday.
27 years of that recurring nightmare, and I was just like, nah, this ain't it. So, yeah, Little Mermaid fucked me up as a kid, but there's a reason behind it. Thanks for what you do, fellas. It's Kyle. Out.
Kyle, you're the man. Thanks for checking in. We workshopped that last week, like why somebody would be scarred by the Little Mermaid, and everything that he just said makes a ton of sense.
Didn't he say he was having those until he was 29 or whatever?
Yeah, he said 27 years.
I think he is 29, so he's still having those bad dreams, right?
I'm not sure, but he did leave a follow-up voicemail. It sounds like, let me kill the volume on this a little bit, but it sounds like he's got a question for us. So let's see what this is.
Chum, what's going on? It's Kyle. I don't know if you guys have done this, but I'm going to throw this out there. Who was your first, celebrity crush?
Oh, easy.
I may have done this, but it's probably been a while. I'm just gonna throw this out. Yeah, I was just thinking about this because my first real celebrity crush, where I actually thought I had a chance, was Tyra Banks.
Tyra Banks.
From that Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, swimsuit cover. The pink and red bikini. I kept that underneath my mattress. It was my dad, and he was looking for it a long ass time. Yeah, Tyra Banks. After I saw that, I was like, I don't want to play with Hot Wheels anymore. So, yeah, if you haven't done it, I'd love to hear what you guys got. Keep up the great work, fellas.
Look at that. 2 voicemails in 1 week. First of all, Kyle, way to aim high. I mean, Tyra Banks, mid-90s. That's pre her talk show and everything. That's pretty peak. I don't even know. Yeah. So Azrael's in the chat, and he's talking about Amy Jo Johnson, aka the Pink Power Ranger. I'm pretty sure that anybody my age, with my same predilections, that was probably one of the firsts. I remember seeing Michelle Pfeiffer in the Catwoman suit. And that was nice. Mark, who was your first celebrity crush?
I think I got to say Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Okay. I Know What You Did I Know What You Did Last Summer, or
yeah. And I used to watch a bunch of Boy Meets World, and there was that Halloween special where she's Jennifer Love Pfefferman or whatever. and
we're gonna cross over to the Topanga route, but
no. Yeah, I was kind of obsessed with her, low key. Just a little bit.
This is an interesting take, though, because I think it tells you, it tells us not only what you're into, but also kind of how old you are and what you grew up with. That's a pretty interesting question. So thanks for the submission, Kyle. Maybe we'll throw that up there. I would like to. I don't know that I've ever talked to females about this. Who was the guy? For my sister, it was David Boreanaz from Buffy and Angel. You know what I'm talking about? And most recently, he was in that show Bones on Fox.
Okay. From Buffy the Vampire Slayer or whatever?
Yeah, so that was hers. I definitely didn't have any friends who were girls when I was younger because I was just too awkward and it didn't work. But it'd be interesting to get some feedback from the females that listen. So
I think it's going to be a bunch of Backstreet Boys or NSYNC singers,
That's another thing, though, is you can tell how old somebody is. If they're saying New Kids on the Block, then they're older than me. If they're saying NSYNC, they're probably about my age. And if it's I don't know, 98 Degrees, then maybe they're a little younger than me. So there you go. Boys to Men is probably the oldest, right?
Boys to Men? Yeah. That would mean you're probably in your 40s.
The original boy band, probably.
Yeah. I'm looking for the Sports Illustrated that he was. I think it was the Sports Illustrated he was talking about, Kyle,
Yeah.
when he was mentioning the magazine that he had. There's this.
Yeah, talking about the swimsuit cover.
Yeah, I didn't log in, so I can't fucking post it. But yeah, there's a swimsuit cover of Tyra Banks in like '97. She looks bad. I could see that, Kyle. I could see you just stashing that under your bed.
It's adorable that you're trying to pretend that you don't remember that exact photo of Tyra Banks.
I do.
Every kid who grew up in the 90s remembers that exact photo.
I don't like Legos anymore.
I don't like Hot Wheels anymore. Let's go. All right, let's move this along.
News to us. Boop.
So, Ed, I should mention, as always, if you want to leave us a voicemail, the number is 847-920-6107. So keep them coming. We appreciate it. We had a few trailers this week. And I know we talked about the teaser for The Boys like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the actual trailer that we're getting. I saw Eric Kripke doing interviews all over the place. Obviously, they're promoting this. And he's saying that one of the things I found interesting was he's saying that season 2's increased budget will lead to larger sea mammals for the deep to carouse with, which I think is hilarious. There's also going to be, before this comes out, a short film featuring Billy Butcher, aka it's Carl Urban, right?
Yeah.
And basically it's going to be what happened to him when he went missing for a few weeks, but that's going to come out before the actual season drops September 4th. So on top of that, this is not just going to be all dropping at once like they did last season. So what they're going to do is drop the first 4 episodes on September 4th. Then weekly after that, every Friday, we're going to get a new episode. So
we're going to get you hooked and then be like, all right, now you got to wait.
Exactly. And Amazon is like the one thing I'm like, I could easily cancel this and just come back to it. I don't use Prime that much anyways. I just go to the store because getting out of the house is kind of a luxury at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But did you pick up anything else out of this?
A lot of head explosions and like just smashing of skulls. A shit ton of blood. Yeah, I guess this isn't a spoiler, but Homelander he tosses a kid off a roof. There's some really fucked up scenes in this trailer, so I'm curious to see how this all plays out. I think he's going to go even further off the edge and just absolutely lose his mind and just start killing innocent people that test him.
He sips a little what looks like breast milk, so that's a throwback to season 1. I'll be interested to see if they can somehow top the fucked upness that was season 1, because that was kind of what kept me coming back for more. The story's pretty good, but in reality, when they're willing to come out and just do something completely absurd and kill a character that you know are not expecting to die, that's what keeps you hooked. So.
There's a scene in the trailer where Homelander's getting interviewed by a reporter, and it looks like he just fucking shoots his eye rays and just kills that person, or like blows their hand off or something. So I think he's just going to be losing his shit.
It looked like he was at like a USO show, like he was one of the celebrities that would go to USO show, and somebody was like giving him the finger and he just like blew him up. So I'm here for the fucked upness that is this show. And I think this is the perfect time to release it. You might as well. So speaking of fucked up comic book adaptations, did you ever watch Umbrella Academy season 1?
This is one of those shows where I stopped halfway. There's like 4 shows I'm trying to catch up on. First one being Doom Patrol. I'm almost done with season 1. I gave that up a while back, and now I'm picking it back up. Umbrella Academy is kind of in the same boat where I have like 3 more episodes. I just need to fucking finish them.
Yeah. Okay.
But I like it. I don't like it as much as The Boys. I don't think I like it as much as Doom Patrol. There's a lot going on with all the characters. You really have to pay attention. It's one of those shows.
I agree. I would say that the second half of the season is probably it gets way better just because you're more familiar with the characters. There's a lot of setup in the first few episodes.
Yeah.
You have to figure out how they got their powers and why they all need to come back together. But and I won't spoil it because of the way season 1 ends, but you end up with kind of a cliffhanger, and now they're turning season 2 into more of like a period piece. Shout out Brick. Going back to 1963 to kind of like defer the end of the world that they're trying to prevent in the first season. You get some new villains from the Commission, which is basically time cops. Like if you're going through time fucking stuff up, they're going to come get you. So this is coming July 31st. I think they do 10 episodes. So what they generally do is like you have 10 days to save the world, and there's an episode for each day. So I'm here for this.
So I'm confused. Are they going back in time? Like, were they actually all born in the time period they are in the first season, or were they actually born in the 60s and they are jumping forward in time in the first season? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay.
My understanding is that they are born like living current day.
Okay.
What they do at the end of season 1 throws them back 50 years.
Got it. Okay.
So, and a lot of what they do is tied to the Kennedy assassination, which I'm a sucker for, kind of like false history, like reinterpretations. So here for that. We also got a teaser for Halloween Kills. So even though this movie's been delayed another year, obvious reasons, right? It seems like they're going to pick up right where they left off, where they're trying to get away from this house. You know what? Everybody fucking knows. He's not going to die. He's in a house that's on fire, and they're like driving away in a truck, and there's fire trucks coming to put the fire out. So obviously he survives. He was never going to die in the first place.
What if the whole movie is an hour and a half of just what's her name screaming in the back of that truck? Let him burn! Just fucking let him burn!
Can you ever see a scenario where they actually let, whether it's Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees or whoever, die for good? Like everybody gets together. The studio that owns the rights says, this is it. Yeah. This is the climax of this story. We're never going to make another one of these.
Hell no. I can't wait for in this movie when the paramedics show up and it's just Jason with his no, not Voorhees.
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers. Sorry. I'm a fucking idiot. It's just his mask is just half burnt off and just melted on his face. And they're just like, we need to save this guy right now. This fucking creep in the Halloween mask. We need to save him.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll watch this. The producers are kind of talking about like, oh, we want to take some extra time to make sure this is formatted right for IMAX. Nobody cares about that. You just don't want to release a movie right now, and that's fine. It makes total sense. But
the first scene I'm going to predict, they throw him in the back of the ambulance. The paramedics are trying to resuscitate him, and all of a sudden they all don't pay attention to him, and you just see him sit up, and he just fucking grabs their throats and just fucking crushes their tracheas.
I'm picturing him. I want to see him like driving the fire truck that's rushing to the scene of the fire. Him just like stoically just turning the wheel slightly, and he pulls up behind the truck and you just see his mask. That's the kind of shit I'm here for. Is I want campy dumb shit.
And it's going to be like a family with their kids driving next to him, and he's going to be looking next.
Bumps him off the road.
The little kid's going to be like, "Oh my fucking god,
I'm going to kill you later." All right,
we should write these movies, is what I'm saying.
I think we should. I mean,
give us a chance.
If they can let Kenny Powers write one, then why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Danny McBride wrote the last one, didn't he? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Totally do this. Not to say he's not talented. He's super talented. But the last trailer I wanted to mention was for a TV show called Woke. And this is coming to Hulu. And really the reason why I wanted to mention this is because it's starring our close and personal friend, Lamorne Morris.
Best friends.
We did a excellent interview with him, even though he still thinks LeBron is the greatest of all time.
I don't get that. If he's from Chicago, you would think
it's okay. It's okay. Not everybody's perfect.
Yeah, it's true.
People just have bad opinions sometimes. But Lamorne's the man, and this is a show starring him coming to Hulu on September 9th. He's basically a cartoon artist, an animator, I guess you would call him. That would be the smart thing to call him. And he kind of just like stays out of like woke culture, like the advancement of minorities and stuff. And basically he's finally he's profiled for something that he didn't do, obviously. And he wakes up and all of the inanimate objects around him are talking to him, which is basically a psychological break. And I'm here for that. Like the dumb, a garbage can's talking to him and whatever. This looks hilarious.
Yeah. Do you think it all starts happening? You get in this trailer where he's posting, I don't know what he's doing, like posting up his flyers for his cartoons or something, and a cop just tackles him from behind and thinks he's obviously either somebody else that committed a crime, or he's just cops trying to put blame on him for some shit that he didn't do.
Or some fucking old white lady called the cops because he was in her neighborhood.
Yeah, and he had a stapler gun just posting up flyers. I
was going to save this for Best Man Alive, but this feels like a good time. Did you see that the lawmakers in San Francisco have passed an act. I can't remember what the acronym stood for, but it was basically called the Karen Act. Let me look this up. But in essence, it's saying like if you call the police just because somebody, here we go, caution against racially exploitative non-emergencies. The Karen Act, even though it starts with a C. This is fucking brilliant. Because all these fucking stupid old white women on Twitter, like talking about how Karen is a slur and everything, are just like, now it's a law. Fuck you. This is brilliant. So that's one of my best men alive.
So what is their punishment? Do they go to jail for the night or something? I hope.
So I have not gotten that far into it. I don't know what the penalty would be. It would outlaw racially biased 911 calls, leverage to threaten people of color. It doesn't really say, I don't think. I can't find that. I don't know what the charge would be. Hopefully it comes with some fucking jail time because these people are assholes. And if you're on Twitter, you see new ones every day. It's unending. I don't know. It's horrible, but
hopefully it's like a bunch of community service or something. Like get fucked.
Fuck that. Put them in jail.
That too.
All right. This is kind of your forte. Do you have any interest in a Zatanna movie?
I do. I like Zatanna.
Why?
A lot. Well, I think she's an interesting character per se, and I think having what we can do now with CGI and digital animation and all that kind of shit would be cool, you know, to give her her own movie with all the magical sorcery type shit that she does. I don't know. I just would be interested in it. And she's the best looking DC animated character there is. So I'm curious to see who they cast. Yeah. Just like
I was just waiting for you to come in and be like, yeah, you know, she wears a super low cut top and going back to our childhood crushes now. I'm less interested in this than I am in a potential Constantine comeback. So there's rumors flying basically about all these Justice League Dark characters, even though the cartoons sucked. They're still trying to make the live action movie. It's an interesting premise. Like, I'm here for it. I loved the Keanu Reeves John Constantine movie, and I think it's criminal that more people haven't seen it. Last I checked, it was on Netflix. The movie's awesome. I think it's really well done, and maybe they could even convince Shia LaBeouf to come back and be the cab driver for him again. His little apprentice guy, whose name I can't remember at the moment. But
shirtless and just tatted head to toe.
No, just on his chest, man. He's got work tattoos, like where he wears some sleeves and everything's covered up. It's fine.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't start getting face tattoos, he would kind of look a little bit like Post Malone if he did.
I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't think he will, because then it's gonna hinder his ability to play other roles, you know, because he could always cover up the tattoos to some aspect.
Yeah. What did you think of the Constantine movie? I'm gonna Google what year that even came out, but
God, I haven't seen it in a while. I was young. It probably came out in what, like 1996 or some shit? No,
it was definitely the 2000s. It was 05.
Shit. Okay. I honestly don't remember it too much. I think it's on DC Universe right now, so maybe I'll go watch it one day. I think it'd be cool though. Yeah, to have Constantine, maybe Dr. Fate. That would be fucking amazing. And Zatanna. Those are all awesome DC characters that really haven't had much of a live action presence for DC. So I'm interested in it. Yeah,
I mean, you had really you had some characters like Chaz Kramer is Shia LaBeouf's character. Jamon Hansu plays Papa Midnight. Other than that, though, like they didn't leverage any of the other DC Universe characters, which I feel like is a big miss. You know, you could have brought in, you know, it doesn't have to be Batman. Like even if it was just Zatanna or some of the other, you know, Justice League Dark members.
Yeah.
Where it's Dead Man. Dead Man, is that right? I'm just tripping my balls off right now.
Dead Man.
Yeah, he's just a dead ghost guy. Why not? Fuck it. So
there's the Changing Man too. Shade, the Changing Man.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
I mean, 05 is prior to even Iron Man in the MCU. So like people weren't really doing this yet, but
yeah,
I'm here for it.
That is though I think it's the worst animated movie that DC has done though. Justice League Dark.
Ever? They've done some that were not good. Didn't like Batman and Scooby-Doo have a crossover or some shit?
Okay, well, yeah, I guess if we're gonna go down that route.
We are going down that route, Mark.
Okay. Well, that was from 2017. I mean, like since 2015, they've had a good run of really solid animated films. I just didn't care for that one that much.
Okay, no doubt.
I know.
What do you think about, since we're stuck with this Universal Studios, Universal Monsters universe? They're going to give us basically Wolfman, which is Ryan Gosling.
Mm-hmm.
At least they're going to attach Leigh Whannell, who directed Upgrade and The Invisible Man, to do this. So we've long been stands for Upgrade as a great movie. It was probably the Venom movie that we should have gotten instead of Venom, even though Venom was okay. I am excited to see him do more shit. And part of me is like, I feel like he thrives on low budget stuff. But I mean, he probably has more options to do what he actually wants to do with a big budget studio behind him, like Universal.
Yeah.
You have any interest in this?
I've never been a huge fan of the Universal monster characters, to be honest. Like, I was never really big into the whole Frankenstein shit. The Mummy was fine, mainly because of Brendan Fraser.
Oh, the old Mummy. I thought you were going to be like Tom Cruise Mummy, because that movie was dog shit.
What, the Tom Cruise Mummy?
Yeah, that was fucking awful.
I would probably actually prefer the Scorpion King over that with fucking The Rock's terrible CGI.
That was real bad.
Early
2000s. Like, you can excuse bad CGI back then.
Yeah. I don't know. Overall, it's fine. Like, I would be lying if I'm saying that, like, I'm not interested in seeing who they're going to cast for these upcoming roles for these classic monsters. I just don't really care overall that much.
If you think about it, though, like if you squint and look at Upgrade, it's kind of a Frankenstein's monster movie.
Kind of.
I saw some people talking about this, I think on Reddit. Like, it kind of makes sense. Like, he's a freak now, and that's the impetus of the movie. But
who do you think they'd cast for this Frankenstein movie for Universal? Like Batista?
Rock. No, The Rock.
The Rock.
It's
okay.
Obviously. It'd have to be in the jungle somehow, like jungle, make The Rock Frankenstein. But no, it could be. I'm trying to think of, like, do you remember? Well, I'm going to look this guy's name up, but you remember The Longest Yard?
Mm-hmm.
The Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah,
they had that gigantic guy that he plays ping pong with, and he's trying to recruit him for the football team.
Yeah,
see if I can find this guy's name, but he's not like that guy who shows up like anytime you just need a giant brute of a man.
He is a giant, like he has giganticism or whatever the fuck.
Gigantism, yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. I'm trying to find this guy's name.
Is he alive?
I don't. Oh man, I'm gonna be really
people
upset.
That big don't live that long, and that movie was from a while ago, and he was kind of old. I feel like he was probably mid-40s.
Yeah, you're probably right. I was I can't remember what I was listening to not that long ago, but they were talking about how certain wrestlers, like Big Show in the WWE, he had surgery to have his pituitary gland like snipped.
Yeah.
And that was something that Andre the Giant didn't want to do, and that's why he didn't live as long. So, man, I cannot find this fucking guy's name.
But Andre the Giant also like would drink a keg a day.
That probably didn't help, but also like he had
60 beers.
Super hyperactive, like what do you call it? Metabolism. So like he could metabolize a bottle of vodka in an hour. So I don't know. What about Thor Bjornsson, the Mountain?
Oh, here he is. Hold on. The Great Khali. The Great Khali is his name. He's an Indian professional wrestler. He is 47 as of August 27th. So I don't think they're not saying he died or anything. So
okay, cool. So his name is Dalip Singh Rana.
Yeah.
So he's done. I don't remember him from MacGruber, but
he's a big dude.
Okay. He's a fucking giant, man. How tall is this guy?
7 foot 1 inch.
7'1", and he's not just like a tall, skinny guy either. He's a fucking monster. So, absolutely make him Frankenstein. Well, I don't want to cast that on him if he doesn't want to play that role, but I think he'd be great for it.
He's seriously Frankenstein. What the fuck?
Yeah,
There was another guy that looked. What about the guy from Billy Madison? That or not Billy Madison? Happy Gilmore. That guy died. I think I remember that when that came out. I was super sad.
My friends used to make fun of me because my dad slightly resembles that guy. So they would always just be like, yeah, your dad got shot in the head with a nail gun.
I believe that's Mr. Gilmore's.
And you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot.
Him running.
Yeah, but big guys don't live for very long. I'm fucked. I'll die by the time I'm like 40. It's fine. Nobody will miss me. Have you been following the news that there is apparently a Joel Schumacher cut? I don't know.
When will you guys stop? When is it enough for you guys? Honestly, just like, come on. Here's my question to you, Smithers. Batman and Robin or Batman Forever?
Batman Forever. Personal opinion. I think what it really comes down to is, do you prefer Arnold or do you prefer Jim Carrey as the Riddler? Okay. To me, that's what it's about. Tommy Lee Jones, I could take a leave, but
so my problem with Batman and Robin, or Batman Forever, I just think there was a lot more potential and they just completely fucked that up. And I hate Tommy Lee Jones, by the way. So that's another reason why I don't prefer that movie. And I think
we need to dive into that.
I think he did a terrible job as Two-Face. Just an absolute terrible job. And the thing about Batman and Robin is it's such a bad movie where it's enjoyable. But Batman Forever is, I just couldn't enjoy it at all. Just these guys playing these roles, and it was just fucking the worst thing ever. And Batman and Robin also had Arnold, and all those fucking one-liners were amazing. So
that's the thing about you is if Arnold's involved, you're going to prefer that anyways. I think it's hilarious to go back and read the stories about how Tommy Lee Jones fucking couldn't stand Jim Carrey while they were on set of this movie, and like they never talked again just because Jim Carrey was always giving him shit. I find that hilarious. Like I would watch behind the scenes takes of this shit where Tommy Lee Jones just like, fuck you, Jim. I would watch that. But back to the story at hand, there's according to Variety. So this is not just like somebody speculating on Twitter. There's an alternate cut to the 25-year-old film. It's a much darker tone. They dig deeper into the psychological damage that was done to Bruce Wayne. So instead of just showing Martha and Thomas Wayne get murdered, apparently there's a moment where he, in like some lucid state, fights a giant human-sized bat.
There's a reason why he needs nipples on his bat suit.
What?
Yeah. This is what the cut is going to be. They're going to dive deep into like his fucking thought process and like, yo, I need nipples on this bat suit.
No, he was just chafing in the rubber suit. So they like vacuum sealed his nipples in there and like they didn't rub anymore.
In case they leaked, they would have that little space for all the seepage.
Are you saying Batman did steroids? Isn't that a thing that can happen if you start doing too much steroids? Milking.
Anyone can get milked. You just have to try hard.
Moving on. It's also this movie's also said to include more scenes of Tommy Lee Jones as he's breaking out of Arkham Asylum. I think that'd be interesting. And also there's a scene with Jim Carrey like actually in the Batcave, so he finds out, where the Batcave is and starts fucking shit up. I'd watch this.
I'd watch it too.
Even though you hate it,
I just rather have them do Batman and Robin.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe there's not a Batman and Robin Schumacher cut though. Maybe it was exactly what he envisioned when they released it.
They'll find it. They'll find enough shit to make a cut.
Arnold's got it in his basement.
Isn't there technically a cut of basically any movie? Because they shoot enough content and they just fucking cut it down. So there's other shit they can put in, but they don't.
Yeah, and these fucking incels on Twitter are like just gonna start clamoring for all this stuff. Like, give me the Sonic the Hedgehog cut of the shitty animation before we yelled at everybody and made them change it.
Yeah. That was actually a good move, though. That was probably one of the only times where I was like, okay, you listen to the people, and it was a success for the most
I agree
part.
with the shitheads on the internet. Yeah, that's usually a tough angle to take, but I agree. Let's keep moving on Batman news though. So Matt Reeves, who's going to direct the Batman, the one with Robert Pattinson, and the producer of The Sopranos, guy named Terrence Winter, are teaming up to do this Gotham City police procedural type thing on HBO Max. This is going to take place in the same universe as the Batman, the movie they're making right now. I don't get this because this sounds just like Gotham, that bad show that aired on Fox.
But it's HBO.
So it really depends on whether they're going to take like the darker angle at this and make it more adult centric, because I feel like they kind of tried to do that in the Fox show and they couldn't make it dark enough for me to not see it as super campy.
Mm-hmm. What if it was like a Watchmen type feel? There's a detective type feel in Watchmen. You know, you have what's her name, and she's trying to get to the bottom of everything. What if they did something like that?
I don't think that they would ever go that dark with Batman. But yeah, darker would be good. So people are talking about it now, and some people are just calling it Gotham Central, which basically is based on the comic book series that Greg Rucka and Ed Brubaker did. Mm-hmm. I don't know, what was that? Early 2000s, late 90s? That feels like forever ago.
Didn't Brubaker write some of Westworld? Am I crazy?
No, he did not. I think you're thinking of Jonathan Nolan, who is Christopher Nolan's brother. But sure. Also, that was based on a Michael Crichton book from like the 70s. But yeah. Sell me on this TV show, though. Like, the only thing I can really think of is that everybody's trying to recapture how good Batman the Animated Series was. Mm-hmm. And nobody's ever going to be able to do that because it's one of the best animated shows ever made.
I don't know. I think we need to see the movie first. And then we can, because they're not going to do the series before the movie, I assume, right? Right.
I don't know, because this is basically a first look deal, which means they're not even doing a pilot for it. Either we're going to see all of it or none of it's ever going to get out. So it's kind of interesting that they're not even, I feel like HBO and Universal are kind of just like, hey, we have these properties, we got to make something out of it. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good. And that's the problem I have with it. But
I don't know. I'm indifferent. And by the way, Brubaker did come on to Westworld in 2016, and he was a writer.
Really?
I just looked it up. Yeah, I swear I remember seeing him in the credits. But that'd be cool if they brought Brubaker on to co-write some of this stuff.
I mean, if he's trying to get more into the TV side of things, he's definitely qualified. No doubt there. So we'll see.
Do you think Jeffrey... I'm just more interested because I love Jeffrey Wright in Westworld, and he's going to be Commissioner Gordon. And I think if they do this right, it could be really interesting. I'm not thinking like, oh, this is another Gotham, because that's fucking CW, and I hate CW. So I'm not going to relate an HBO show to a CW show. It's just not going to happen.
We have a very special guest hopping on right now.
Oh, God, Brick.
What's going on, dudes?
Hello, shit-faced. How are you?
I could not be more blacked out right now than I am right now.
Was this
right? I mean, sorry for all the Christians out there.
Are you just slap happy, or are you actually like you woke up and started drinking more this morning?
I woke up and started drinking more because I'm a trash person who doesn't deserve things. I'm a homeless person.
Cheers, buddy.
No, the natty Saturdays. Let's go.
Are you living in the mountains?
No, I'm in somewhere. I don't even know, dude.
I was gonna say that mountain has a ceiling fan, so I don't think he's quite in the mountains.
I'm in somewhere.
So give me the Gotham juice, dude. Give me some heat on the Gotham.
The show's gonna suck. That's the juice on it. We did talk a little bit about you watched Umbrella Academy though, right, Brick?
No, I the guy who was like wearing the muscle suit didn't do it for me.
But this second season is going to be a period piece.
It is.
Ooh, what era?
63.
1963, like leading up to the Kennedy assassination.
Vietnam.
Okay. Nope. Weird. Nice pun there. Kind of bleeding. I don't know. Terrible pun.
Okay.
I'm trashed. I need to get out of here. I have $40 at Taco Bell waiting for me. I need to go.
What'd you order?
I ordered a big box, and then I got extra tacos and a Doritos Locos taco.
Oof, that sounds
Nice.
fire.
You're never gonna eat all that.
I'm never gonna. My eyes are way too big for my drunk ass stomach right now.
Before you go, I demand that you weigh in on Fast and Furious going into space reportedly for this next movie.
FNine, dude. We called it like fucking 2 years ago or 3 years ago. We were like, where do they go from here? The only where to go is either the center of the earth in the core or outer space
With ninjas
Hell
and
yeah,
shit.
we need it.
That was going to be my next question is like, how do you top this? My suggestion was they literally go to hell. Like
right?
Dom Toretto is in heaven drinking Coronas with like some of the family and the rest of the guys are in hell. And they're like, nah, we got to leave. Sorry,
we
let
need
me
to get our
my
boys
thoughts
back from hell. That's
We
what
got
they
to
can bring
reunite
back.
the family.
They can bring back CGI Paul Walker at that one too.
Oh, fuck. Dude, that's brilliant. That's
I
how they're
was
going
just
to do
gonna
it.
say, bring back a fucking alternate universe Paul Walker that's like in a ship coming towards Earth, just like we've heard about your Earth, and it's just Paul Walker fucking.
No, you're doing aliens. We're talking about angels. God, this is absurd. How can you even fucking have that take for Fast and Furious? They would never do that.
This is F10. 10.
F10 is going to hell.
Fit 10,
Yeah. 10.
FNine works a little better.
for 9.
What would Paul Walker's angel car be?
Ooh.
Skyline. Because he's
that's
in the
too-
sky and he's just
No.
flying a line in heaven.
I got to think about that. There's got to be something like angel or Jesus related. Like, would Paul Walker just grow? Would they just CG a beard on dead Paul Walker and be like, he's Jesus?
I feel like every time that he revs an engine, it would be just like, oh, rather than
An
like
angel gets his wings.
engine. Exactly.
Every time he shifts gears, an angel gets his wings. All right, go eat your fucking Taco Bell, you slob.
R.I.P. Paul
Ciao,
Walker.
beta.
That was exactly what we needed.
I am somewhere.
I'm somewhere and I'm blacked out.
Fucking brick.
That's
Bust.
We the best!
Worst.
The worst! She's the worst person in the world. Huge skank, terrible, but thank you.
Should we bet on by 3 o'clock his time, which is in about 3 hours? Is he
2
going
hours and
to?
45 minutes.
Is he going to be drinking more, or is he going to be asleep?
I bet he'll drink more. He's not.
You think so? Mm.
Yeah, he didn't seem that fucked up. Like, I think he's kind of trying to oversell it, and he's gonna get fucked up, but he's not yet. You know, the elevation hits you a little differently too when you're in Denver. He's probably used to it by now, but the lack of oxygen really gets you drunk faster. So
He's also been dieting, and he's been hitting the gym early. And I don't think he's eating that many carbs. And when you're not eating that many carbs and your calories are low like that, you're gonna get fucking rocked. Like,
he also
you're gonna
just
get trashed.
he also says he just ordered $40 worth of Taco Bell, so that diet is out the fucking window. Just a Rican in his comics is in the chat. He says,
What's
"Yo,
going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. He actually gave us a shout out for my comic book reviews on his show.
Very nice.
Really appreciated that.
All right. Mark, I'm going to grab a beer. While I do that, why don't you set up your best man alive?
Dude, I don't even have a best man alive.
Okay,
Give me
then
your best
I'll
man
do
alive.
my best man alive. So what we were, this is, my sister sent me this actually. So let me pull up this article. But Japan is starting to reopen some of their theme parks. And this one is called Fuji Q Highland. It's one of Japan's biggest theme parks. And what they're asking their patrons to do is to not scream while they're in roller coasters, which kind of going to be hard to do, but also they're asking you to please scream inside your hearts instead of screaming out loud, which is something I think we've all been doing since about March, is screaming inside of our hearts. So I just kind of felt this on a deeper level. I already talked about the Karen Act, so that was one of my other best men alive, but I think this is genius. I still understand, like, Japan is dealing with this whole thing way fucking better than we are. You know, like they're pretty much through this. They're getting like 200 new cases a day countrywide.
Yeah,
We're getting like 70,000.
They're
But
putting out
Disney-
new anime and shit. They're just like, whatever. We just
well, you can't stop anime. Nothing will ever stop anime.
anime.
Except for you were talking to me about the guy who created Berserk, the manga, and talking about how a video game completely derailed his releasing of new comic issues for like 6 months. But anyways, I don't understand how the fuck they're starting to open things up in Disney World. Like, that's in the middle of Florida. What are you thinking?
Hey, I'm still here. My camera just died.
Okay, cool.
No,
Every time.
So yeah, it's different in Florida, obviously, compared to Japan, because people just in Florida have no regard for anything that's any well-being of anyone and the health of their community. So I think Japan, even though they're going to do this, I feel like they're going to do it right, as opposed what Florida would be doing, which is the complete opposite and wrong in so many ways.
You know what I've been thinking about is they're going to start shooting movies and TV shows more so in New Zealand and other countries. Some European countries like Germany's letting The Witcher back in, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Are stupid American people going to like re-spread the virus over these countries that are actually handling it well?
Who knows? I think we'll have to see in about 6 months when people start traveling to other foreign countries. Because I think in like half a year, these countries need tourism. A lot of them, you have places like, I don't know. I'm just thinking of like Bali, for example, where a lot of their economy thrives on tourism and tourists bringing in money for them. So I think they're going to start letting people in, and then that's where we're going to see like a lot of countries that didn't have huge outbreaks and what happens when they start letting more tourism.
It's scary, man. I mean, I guess if they're making people quarantine and stuff, then it won't be an issue, but I'm seriously concerned that we're not going to get baseball in 2 weeks, and that's going to be really upsetting to me. Like, that's the one thing I've been looking for. Baseball is literally coming back on my birthday, and if they cancel it, it's going to be the worst birthday of my entire life.
So have you looked more into this? Are they actually testing everyone? Or are they just testing people with
They're testing everybody with the team. They're testing them every other day. When they first started, they did what they called intake tests, and they tried to do it over the 4th of July weekend. So apparently they're sending all of these tests to a facility in Utah, and everything got delayed. Like, they were talking about how FedEx wasn't shipping on the day that they sent everything out or whatever. Basically, somebody fucked up big, and it took them like a week to get the initial tests for everybody in baseball. And that is pretty much inexcusable because they had all these people together, and if they had somebody who was positive, like, everybody on that entire team would have been fucked. So they somehow avoided that, and now that the testing is up and running and they're doing it every other day. So I don't know. We'll see. I just really, baseball's like my happy place. Like, I can turn my brain off and not worry about anything other than baseball, even if my team sucks. I've been watching the Cubs my entire life, and for most of my life, they did suck. So hopefully we don't go back to that. But
yeah, playoff baseball is so exciting. But what I love about regular season baseball, it's like a faster paced golf, kind of, where you can just kind of sit back, listen to it, enjoy it. You're not like completely fucking on the edge of your seat watching it, but you're just chilling, having a beer, loving life, So yeah, I'm so pumped for it to come back.
I listen to people talk about this, kind of like golf, where you can't play it harder. Like, you can't try harder in baseball. Like, it just is what it is. Either you have it that day or you don't. And something about that just makes me feel more connected to it. I don't know. It sounds stupid, but have you been following like Rajon Rondo? So NBA players are like down in the bubble in Orlando now, and they're getting all these people together, and all these guys are on Instagram bitching about like the food and the accommodations. Like, fuck you. How much money have you made in your life, Rajon Rondo? Like, if you think that I'm going to feel bad for you for a fucking second because the personal chef that you have wasn't up to snuff for your fucking palate, eat shit. It's the same. Like, I posted in the Discord earlier this week. De Niro's lawyers, Robert De Niro's lawyers, are complaining that he will, quote unquote, be lucky to make $7.5 million this year.
7.5.
So I understand it was like he wasn't just coming out and complaining. Basically, his ex-wife is saying like, I need an up in my payments, which, you know, fuck her too. She doesn't need it. She's the thing that we have in this country is what we call standard of living. So like if you're used to a certain standard of living and you get a divorce, your spouse, who is like the main breadwinner, is expected to continue to pay for that, which whether it's a man or a woman shouldn't matter. It's fucking horseshit. Like, I don't know. This is a rant that I shouldn't be getting on right now. So
we should take a moment of silence for Robert De Niro for only making $7.5 million this year. Everyone
shed a tear for Bobby D. And also, The Irishman sucked. So
fucking, it did suck.
I don't understand why everybody loved that fucking movie. It was not good.
Okay, it didn't like suck, but it was so freaking long and it kind of sucked.
No, dude, it sucked. It sucked. Did you come up with the best man, or should we move on?
Kind of, not really. This is just a topic I wanted to bring up. I guess I'm kind of for this. Besides, like the whole breaking and entering part of it, but the homeless people in Philadelphia supposedly are breaking into abandoned buildings and they're like rehabbing them, like they're fixing them up and shit.
Why?
To live there. But they're like making these buildings nice, like they're putting up like new drywall, and I don't know, maybe they have like some homeless electricians that are doing shit, and I have no idea. But anyways, the homeless people in Philadelphia, they're breaking and entering into abandoned, I don't know, apartment buildings or wherever they are. Supposedly they're fixing them up so they can live there. How do you feel about this?
I mean, good for them. Why the fuck not? I mean, what else would they be doing really, other than it would be real? What would be really nice is if the people who own these buildings would come and be like, "Hey, I will give you some money so you can rehab this, and then here's a job, and you're an employee, and here's a steady income so you can help the economy." But what the fuck do I know? I'm not an economist.
Oh, I guess they're actually, so over the past, this is Vice, over the past few months, they have been transforming a shit show of a vacant 5-bedroom house in Philadelphia into something she described. I think this is, I don't know, the tenant or fucking no idea, as move-in ready, if not beautiful. They're repainting it, putting down carpeting, installing several new appliances. I don't know where they're getting new appliances. I'm super confused at this story. I'm not going to try to go through it right now, but I just saw it on the news a bunch of times and I'm just like, okay.
I mean, it makes sense. Like you would think if they were that skilled that they would just be able to get a job. But I mean, I hope that they do. I hope that this turns their lives around and only good comes of it. But that said, let's move on. And when you hear that fart, you know that it's time for our movie review. So we got kind of lucky this week. I would call us spoiled. We got 2 movies this week. I think the other one, which is The Old Guard, which came to Netflix Friday, we will review next week. I've heard really good things about that as well. But this week we watched the Andy Samberg and Christina Milioti movie, Palm Springs. So this is a movie that is directed by a first-time director named Max Barbaco, and I hope I'm doing that right, but this is getting really good reception, and it's 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, 90% from fans. I thought this was stellar. I thought it was fucking brilliant. So you also get J.K. Simmons in there. Who's the Peter Gallagher, the guy with the eyebrows from the OC. That's just what I always think of him as. So this is a movie that debuted originally at Sundance back in January. Then Neon, who's produced other movies like Colossal and a lot of kind of like indie type movies. So they sold the rights to Hulu for $17.5 million. And to date, that is the largest sale to a streaming service. I think that'll obviously be passed up pretty soon, but this premiered on Hulu on Friday. So if you've seen the trailer for this, you already know what it is. It's a time loop movie, but it's a different take on a time loop movie in that I saw it described as it's a sequel to a movie that doesn't exist. But since everybody out there has already seen Groundhog Day or The Edge of Tomorrow or any other movie where everybody's already stuck in a time loop, you don't need that intro. You can just accept that this guy's stuck in a time loop. Like Andy Samberg even calls it like, this is, your typical time loop situation. And I think that's brilliant. The fact that they don't talk down to you and like get into the quantum physics side of things. They touch on it like a little bit like later in the movie,
Not really.
but they don't try and set it up that way. And Andy Samberg is brilliant in this. Christina Milioti is a very tortured character in this, and I think that she plays that extremely well. There's so much growth, I think, of the two main characters in this that I don't know, it's just brilliantly done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love this movie. I thought it was great. What I really liked about it is we kind of ruined this already, but I didn't know it was a time loop movie until I started watching it. And it's not a spoiler. We have to talk about it to be able to.
You were not on the episode when we talked about this trailer. Daryl from Watch It Like was on. So yeah, that makes sense.
So what I loved is the beginning. I just had no idea. He's at this wedding and he's doing all this sick shit. Like he knows exactly how to move around people. He's doing crazy dances and he like everything around him, he's completely aware of. And you're just like, what is going on? This is so unrealistic. And then once you find out it's a time loop, you're like, holy shit, that's hilarious. He's dressing like this because he's been doing this hundreds of thousands of times. He doesn't give a shit anymore. He can dance over this person and do a cartwheel, like just missing this waitress walking by because he knows exactly where things are when they're happening. So I just love the fact that I was ignorant in knowing that this was a time loop movie. I thought that was, it was kind of cool being able to piece everything together, be like, that's why. But it is a really good story about people making shitty mistakes and having to address them and figure it out. And everyone from J.K. Simmons' character who comes in later, through Andy Samberg realizing like he fucked up and he's kind of got to deal with his share of fuck ups throughout this time loop as it's happening. It makes for a really good story, and it has like it's a little bit of a love story too. It is a love story, and I thought Andy Samberg and Christian Milioti did a great job and had some good chemistry. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
They had great chemistry, and I'm glad you brought that up. I thought that like halfway through the movie, when you start getting into the second and middle act, I think Christina Milioti kind of takes over. Mm-hmm. Like in the first half of the movie is more Andy Samberg, and I think that the second half is hers. She kind of takes this over and owns it. While Andy Samberg deals with some really deep introspection because he spends the entire first act basically avoiding it completely. And I don't really want to go any deeper than that. Like there's not a ton that we can say about this movie other than it's fucking awesome. I loved J.K. Simmons' character. Mm-hmm. He does like he has a personal journey of his own, but he did an interview with the AV Club, I think earlier this week, kind of like a promo thing for Palm Springs, yeah. And he was basically just talking about how he loves working with Andy Samberg so much, just like he's super creative and everything. So originally, when Max Barbaco was working on this with the guy that wrote it, Andy Serious, I think is his name. Like they had this idea and they didn't even realize at first that it was like a time loop movie. And then somehow like these two guys went to film school together, but somehow they get connected to the guys from The Lonely Island. And then all of a sudden it turns into, they want to take it more to like the nerdy side of things where you're referencing movies that everybody's seen. Like you live in a universe where these movies exist. Mm-hmm. And then they start throwing in the actual quantum physics stuff later on, and talk about like the Cauchy. There's a certain theory out there that the Cauchy theory, the edge of the Cauchy theory. But they started doing like nerdier shit like that I really appreciated. So I don't love the idea that like you could look at it and be like, this is a romantic comedy, because generally that's not what we're into, but it is. It's a romance. And if romantic comedies were more like this, I think I'd be inclined to watch a lot more of them.
Yeah. I think we do have to talk about Andy Samberg's performance. for like just knowing him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and the shit he's done for HBO, and just him being like that comedic actor and seeing this other side to him where, yeah, it is a comedy and he's pretty hilarious in a lot of these parts. And this is a great role for him, but you also get to see another side of his acting, which I appreciated. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing him in more things down the road, because I feel like we don't get too much of him, you know, besides like little shorts and things like that pop up on HBO or skits every once in a while. So
I'm trying to think, like, I'm looking through all of this. I'm trying to think of a more serious role that he's done. And
he hasn't.
I think this is like the most serious thing that he's ever done.
Yeah. He's, like Hot Rod,
anything he does,
like
with
Adam Sandler. No,
he did some voices in like Hotel Transylvania and shit like that. But
yeah.
I mean, most of what he does is like HBO, straight to HBO stuff where it's just a ridiculous premise. Like he did Tour de Pharmacy and 7 Days in Hell, where he's like the tennis player where they have a tennis match that goes for a full week and shit like that. Mm-hmm. That's his purview. Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it does go serious sometimes, but he's never the straight man.
Yeah.
So to see him like this, even though he's relatively just kind of aloof and funny,
mm-hmm.
this is he excelled in this, in my opinion. And I think I'm ready to see him do more serious roles.
Yeah, definitely.
So that said, was there anything you didn't like about this? Think about it.
Yeah, I just thought it did have like that lower budget feel where a lot of, I mean, it's a time loop movie. So every scene is going to be in the same place per se, but you could tell in some parts that it was just, yeah, it's a lower budget film, but that didn't really take me out of it too much. So that's about it.
I would agree with that. Later in the film, they do kind of some like Deus Ex Machina stuff where they basically just like fly through learning quantum physics. And I was just like, this is kind of weird, but it wasn't enough to take me out of it. This is one of my favorite movies of 2020 so far.
Yeah,
I just finished it this morning and I thought it was fucking brilliant. I can't say enough about how good this movie was. This is an absolute go see it right now from me.
I agree. Yep. It's a see it for me. Did you stick around? Did you turn it off right when the credits rolled, or did you wait the 20 seconds for the post-credit scene?
Fuck, I missed it. I
will not spoil that for you. There is a post-credit scene, and I wanted to talk about the ending because with that post-credit scene, it was a really nice way to wrap it up. It's with J.K. Simmons, his character Roy, but you need it. I would just go turn it on. It's like 15 seconds after the show. So,
let me ask you, do you want a sequel to this?
We're not going to get a sequel. I'll say that after this post-credit scene.
Okay.
It kind of ties it up in a nice little bow, for Roy that's left out still in the time loop.
Fuck. I want to end this show right now and go watch it.
I'm done talking. I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to spoil it if I keep talking.
So it's a resounding see it from us. I'm sure that if Brick's going to love this movie. I think that this is right up his alley too. So I'm pretty sure that he's going to love it. This
is Brick comedy, just like the way Sandberg moves and just talks and reacts to shit. It's hilarious.
This is what Brick would do if he was stuck in a time loop.
Mm-hmm. He's going to love the part where one thing to mention, in the beginning of the time loop, Sandberg wakes up with his girlfriend, who's not really his girlfriend. He's done with her. But anyways, there's a part where he knows exactly what she's going to say, and he just line for line just fucking mimics exactly what she's saying as she's saying it. And she's just like, what the fuck? Freaking out.
I laughed out loud. A lot of this movie, and that's not something I do. If you're watching a movie alone, it's just not something you do very often. I laughed so much at this movie. Yeah, it's hilarious.
It was an extreme Jinx, you owe me a soda moment, but it's pretty hilarious.
I have meat to tend to, so let's try and wrap this up. Yeah. Mark, what is your recommendation for this week?
See it. Oh, recommendation. I don't know. Hit me with yours.
So I talked about this a few weeks ago. Gary Larson is back, the guy who created The Far Side, and he just started releasing some of his new comics. So basically he was doing like ink and pen forever in like the 80s and 90s. Now he came back and he bought like a digital pen and shit like that. And he's back is what I'm saying. And he's basically just releasing these intermittently on his website. I'm a huge fan of The Far Side. I think that it's some of the most brilliant comedy out there. It's like memes before memes existed. Just one panel, something stupid happens, like a dumb non sequitur, and they're brilliant. So highly recommend that. Go check out that website. I also started watching something that Brick talked about a few times, Dead to Me, the Netflix series with Christina Applegate and I'm blanking on the other girl's name. I'm sorry, but I'm only like 2 episodes in because my kid won't stop crying, but I am going to get there. So Dead to Me is on Netflix. There's, I think season 2 just dropped, but what do you got?
Comic book nerds out there, you're probably reading this. If you heard of DCeased, which was a DC series back in 2017, maybe the hardcovers out there. You can find it in any local comic book shop. I highly recommend reading that. But DCeased Dead Planet just came out. This is a series you should pick up and start reading if you're looking for comic books bi-weekly to start reading, Smithers. It's okay. Dude, this first issue is fucking insane. And it's a cool premise. It's the Justice League is somewhat fucked because of the huge pandemic, a big outbreak, which is really
how convenient.
How convenient to what's going on. But there's a bunch of different characters that now are the Justice League. Like you have Damian Wayne, and that like there's just the Justice League is now completely different because what happened to the original Justice League is fucked up. But I would definitely read it. It's a cool story. It's a sequel to DCeased, which released back in 2017. Check that out. But start picking
on the Black Label, or was that just DC straight?
This is technically ages 13 and up, but it's, dude, I don't know how that's right because the last panel of this issue is just like fucking God. It's very gory.
In my pants.
All right. So let's wrap this up. This has been episode 203. As always, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at the Chumpcast. You can call or text us at 847-920-6107. Mark, I'm going to go check on this meat. It's going to be delicious. There's going to be a great smoke ring to it. I'm going to go spray a little apple juice on that bitch. And
Kelly is making stuffed peppers with Italian sausage.
Nice. Pumped
there shortly.
So hit us up, leave us a voicemail if you want to, and until next time,
babies and barbecue. Chumps out, motherfuckers. Peace.
Wait, I gotta play the outro video, don't I?